Hey everybody, it's me, Dan. I missed you guys on Tuesday. I was otherwise disposed, and so I was able to catch it later and to see Dan and Sharon and provided some really important updates, and I appreciate them both stepping in for me. Um, it's been another crazy week as far as us coping with a new world order and a whole set uh, of circumstances that sometimes surprise us and shock us and or maybe what's even more shocking is that we're not as shocked as we once were. I still just every time I get ready to make my way into a grocery store to get something that I need, and I just look at everybody shuffling in and their masks of all different shapes and colors and gloves and various you see everything and just imagine if like a couple of months ago you've been somehow transported to the future 2 months, you would have looked at that and been like, what the frig is going on? Like it's just, but now I don't think anybody asked that. We all kind of know that this is serious business. I was thinking back to just over a week ago, last week, and at the Tuesday forum, and at that forum, I just updated Saul on a few statistics because you kind of hear it, but to really like focus on what it means. So a week ago on Tuesday, the total number of deaths in the United States was just about 26,000 people had died. That was like 9 days ago. And the current dead as of today is 48,900. So we've essentially doubled the amount of deaths in 1 week. In 1 week, we went up 25,000 deaths. In Massachusetts a week ago, there was 959 reported deaths, and as of today, there is 2,182 deaths, more than a doubling of people that have passed. And the global death toll is now at just over 185,000 souls gone from this earth. Um, you know, um, I think that it's one of those things that you can distance yourself from, and I know it's so frustrating because we're doing the social distancing, we're doing the stay at home, we're isolating, we're distracted by all of the craziness of trying to manage our lives, the financial uncertainty, and all these other things. So this death thing, unless there's something in your orbit that you've lost somebody, it's easy to kind of forget that each of those deaths, there's a family behind them, and there's sadness and grief and loss because people have not been able to be with people, and we are we at NuPath experienced that this past week, our first real taste of loss of our own family members. And I know that Dan and Sharon touched on this on Tuesday, but I just felt it was important enough that I wanted to mention the lives that we lost. There were three, and I've asked Greg to, if you would, pull up on the screen kind of a memoriam of each of these people. I don't know if I've seen. Maybe here we go. We heard of Lisa. I don't know if my screen is Lisa Garrier. Was at the Martin Center, and she was my age. Just about like exactly. Phil Doherty. And Sean Kennedy. I wanted to just give their lives the time and the focus as an organization that they mattered, and they're going to be missed. And there's going to be a hole in our family where they were. And this is so real, guys. This is hitting home. Now, I know that not everyone knew these three folks. Anybody that's been, I mean, I remember getting to know Sean and Bill when I first started at NuPath. It was called CMark then in 2004, and when we moved the Dayhab that used to be over at New Boston Street over to Sylvan Road before it moved over to where it is at West Cummings Park. They were part of just a network of close knit community, and they were loved. And Lisa too. She wasn't with us as long, but still a long time. And I know that the staff there were probably devastated. And I saw the condolences and the expressions of sympathy that went out to the community, and it meant a lot to me because we should never ever diminish any life, you know. And so when we hear 48,900 people dead in the United States alone, that has to be jarring for us. It's got to be, if we're to remain human. Now, yeah, I thank you for letting me just talk about that, because I think that part of what makes us special as an organization is that we are connected in the way that we are, and that we do have staff that care so much. I mean, Sharon Pitts is getting emotional just talking about it. And that's got to remain part of who we are. We can't just ever become so callous or deadened to what it means when somebody that we love and is part of our family leaves us. You know, I myself am dealing with my own fear and worry. Just over a week ago, I found out that somebody tested positive at Benchmark, where my mother lives. She's 86 years old. She's very congestive heart failure. She's got all kinds of other physical conditions. There are now 14 in 1 week, 14 people, residents, and I think 4 staff. And that was yesterday. And they've had 2 deaths from COVID-19. And I had a conversation with my mother yesterday. I said, if you die, what is it? What are we going to do with your body? She wants to be. I mean, the plan was to fly her back to Indiana so she could be buried next to my father in Indiana. She has a plot there, and that's what the plan was. But what do we do now? And I'm asking her, you know, do we cremate you? And is that all right? And having this conversation with your mother is not something that anyone ever wants to do. Like, I never wanted to, but it's real to me. This thing is real. We are hearing positive developments, even as the significance of this crisis starts to hit home for some of us. There's more testing available. We know that even within our organization, the mobile testing units that have been made available, again, there's been a lot of kinks and it hasn't been exactly perfect, but I think I mentioned this last week, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a fundamental to us getting through this thing. We can't really know whether we're safe or unsafe until we know who has it and doesn't have it. It was yesterday. I was feeling a little off and feeling a little achy, and you know, I mean, doesn't everybody feel like that? Do I have it? Is this the beginning of it? What's it going to feel like tomorrow? Like you hear hear stories, it takes a toll on people. So it's only natural that it's taken a toll on us. And if you're somebody out there that's fighting between feeling depressed and fearful and uncertain and just wants to be over and just want to at the same time just isolate and just I don't know, whatever you're feeling, it's probably okay you're feeling that way because this is unprecedented times. And I gotta say, when I watched last night and I saw Dan and Sharon, and Sharon is something. Well, Dan and Sharon both, everybody's special, but Sharon has just been a true. Um, she's like she's like the shepherd that's helping us see us through this thing. And she was very helpful. She's been very helpful to me in the past with my mother around some issues, some questions I've had, because there's a lot of concern. Um, and but we are seeing some signs of some improvement. I mean, 2 weeks ago you couldn't hardly even find a test, and now I'm hearing that there's uh, more and more test sites in the community opening up, and I think that we are. I'd like to think that we're at a point where we're going to start to see some things beginning to improve. Far, far, far from returning to any kind of a normal programming schedule. Far from it. Um, Dan Lannon and I were talking about um, when we think, realistically, our day services are going to get back to any kind of a normal rhythm. I mean, normal. I don't even know if this year we'll get back to normal. Probably not. I mean, until we have a vaccine, I don't think there's anything that in our lives that are going to be normal as we know it or remember it to be. Um, but I was saying to my mom, I said, the second that I could get in there. I don't care if I'm going to have to be gowned and masked and whatever else. The second I can get in there to help you and to do things that you need me to do, since I haven't been there for over a month now, I will be there. And I think that we're going to start to see gradually uh, across the country, various states beginning to open up certain businesses and certain parts of commerce and industry. And we need to be prepared to um, be ready for that because we all want so much to get back to normal. But at the same time, I think you'll agree that we want to do so in a way that's safe, um, that's limits the potential for us to, in some way, unknowingly continue to spread this uh, just just horrendous scourge of a virus, um, and that we continue to do whatever we can to stay healthy and well until a vaccine can be isolated and not just found, but then manufactured and produced and administered. And these are things that are going to take many, many, many weeks and months. So um, things are so serious, and I see more and more cars on the road, and it seems that I know that people are getting restless, and I'm feeling restless. But please, I beg you all to continue to follow the guidance. And to our families, I feel your pain. Um, I can only imagine how it must be for you to have not seen your kids for as long as it's been. Seriously, I mean, I get it. Um, and and yet, what better choice do we have? I mean, we're only all of us wanting to do the right thing to protect all of us. And that's you, families, and the people in our homes and I say all the time, well, if I can't get in to see my mother, I can almost accept it because at least I know every strange person off the street can't wander in, and that probably means that she's got a better chance of not catching this thing. And so we're doing the same thing here with our population. Um, we have This has been a tough financial time as well for NuPath. We've lost. I just got an email from Bill Yates before I started this, and um, before the DDS, some of the DDS money started to kick in, we lost $770,000 so far this year. There's never been a time in the history of this organization where we're looking at numbers of that kind of magnitude. And after some of the partial billing that we've been able to collect some revenues on, we're looking at about a $535,000 loss year to date. $535,000 year to date. I mean, what can you say? It's we're not the only ones. It's not like we've done some egregious thing or we're recklessly mismanaging funds. This is the crisis of our century, and there are many people in pain and many businesses that may never emerge from this. So trying to take it all in stride and trying to recognize the small benefits that we've had, and really, at the end of the day, we'll figure out the money. Years ago, when I was just about baby 21 or something, and I started working in this field, I worked with a wonderful woman and became my friend. Her name was Jean Preston. She used to say, Dan, if money can fix it, it doesn't matter. Of course, I had no money at the time, and I was working 3 jobs, and I thought, yeah, it's easy for you to say, but it's so true. We'll figure out the money stuff. We just need to keep people alive and healthy and well, and that's got to be our primary concern. So as this thing wears on, and as we get tired, and as we see sunny weather, and we want to get out, we want to see our friends, and we want things to be back to normal. I know that feeling. We've got to look for ways to substitute, and ways to make the virtual, as real as we possibly can. NuPath is continuing to do our virtual programming. I had a chance to sit in on a morning meeting this morning. I think something like 30 other people. It was extraordinary to see. Was it the same as being with a group of people that you love and appreciate? No, it wasn't the same. But it just lifted my spirit so much to see the faces of all these people that had come together at that time at 10 o'clock to check in and to connect with one another. And it's a way to know that we're not alone in this world. And I urge you, if you haven't yet checked out the offerings that we have, there's a really great calendar on our website. You can check it out and see what other things that may be of interest to you, or somebody that you have that's been just dislocated or displaced because of our day program closures. I mean, I think families everywhere are feeling the strain of having kids home and trying to do, homeschool and manage all of that. That's a huge stress for people, and our people that are not able to work and not able to be with their friends and be in communities that have been familiar to them. It's a huge strain. So we're going to continue to do whatever we can to, fill some of the gaps. It's not going to be everything for sure, but I think it's so important that we continue to see one another and know that we're there, and that we're out there, and that we can identify with others that are going through what we're going through. If you are watching this today, and I know many of you are family members, and we've had, I don't know what we're up to now, 100 and something. It's been pretty consistent for our Tuesday and Thursday. Fridays then drop by 30 or 40 people. I urge you to check in tomorrow, and maybe it's the time isn't right. We may take a look at polling people and see if there'd be a better time. But tomorrow we're gonna take a look at one residential program in particular that is doing some pretty interesting and fun things. And I'm gonna ask Greg to show a little video that we got today about a group of staff, and their staff that's kind of a composite of the staff that are working at Sheldon Street, and staff from our Westford program, day staff that have been relocated there or have been assisting, and something that they did to express their appreciation for some of the heroes in the community of Billerica, where the house is located in. We're just going to take a quick minute to watch it, and then I'll be back to talk about what we could look forward to tomorrow. So, Greg, you want to pull that up, please? So, since whole thing started, there's been some pretty creative stuff that's coming out of that house, and that is exactly what I needed to see today when I got that email from Brian and sharing that great video that the staff had put together, and this idea of expressing gratitude. You know, when I learned a long time ago, it's not certainly not my idea, but when sometimes you're feeling your lowest, the best way to get out of your slump is to find a way to express gratitude to somebody else, and find reasons to be thankful or of service to others. And it just pleased me so much to see that the staff and the guys at Sheldon Street had decided to reach outward and to um, thank the heroes of Billerica for the work that they're doing on the front lines. And so I said, let's kind of drill down a little bit tomorrow, and talk to some of the staff, and I hope some of the families. We're working on a couple of different angles, and hear about some of the things that are happening up there. And I know that there's extraordinary things happening across this entire organization. I know that, but the purpose of these Fridays is to just get a little bit, more up close and personal with some of the specific, people that are doing some of these things. And guys, this is part of the organization that we belong to. That's one of our core values, belonging. We belong together, and Sheldon Street is part of who we are, and the staff and the families up there are part of our family, and so what they do kind of reflects on, on all of us, and makes me very proud to know that that's how we're presenting ourselves to the broader community. So I know it's a little grim right now. There's just, there's just a lot happening, and guess what? I'm a human being. Um, I probably could, get up here and pretend that, none of this affects me, but I'm hurting like many of you, and I'm worried, and I'm not afraid because it's one of our fundamental beliefs. I'm not afraid, but I'm worried. I'm not afraid because I know I'm part of something bigger than myself in this organization, filled with smart people who care, are loyal and dedicated and driven, and they're deeply, deeply committed to the men and women we support. I mean, I couldn't ask to be a part of anything better than this. And tell you, if we had to go through this, I couldn't think another group I'd rather choose to be with. You guys are crushing it, and our staff that are continuing to show up for their shifts and doing the hard work and reporting for duty every day. I salute you. Honest to God, you guys are providing the very essential service that we need to care for the people that our families have trusted us to care for, and that's what we're going to do. So I am going to have a little quick check in with Greg and see if there's any questions. But if there isn't, we're going to wrap up a little early today and look forward to a special a Friday Unity Forum tomorrow. It's going to be terrific, and it's gonna feel good to hear about some of the stuff that's going on up there. Greg, is there any questions that have come up?
And
Well,
Dan, no questions, just a lot of expression of support and of course. And there is one parent to hear, Chaudhry, just actually put a message in that they did a fundraiser for NuPath, which will conclude at the end of this month, and will hopefully have a few $1,000s. And they just asked a question of where to send that in. So I thought that was pretty special.
wow, that's incredible. You know, Brett and I have been talking about it. Well, you know, I don't hold much back. These forums, you never know, especially when I'm in this kind of mood. I just like babble. We've talked about whether or not to try to reach out to our community, and I've told you about what our losses are looking like, and we had to furlough something like 48 people last week, and we're not. I should have mentioned this earlier. We've not made any decision about going to furlough anybody further this week. I think we're just trying to play this very, very carefully. But clearly there's a huge financial need. And so Brett was talking about, is there a way to appeal to people? And you know, he worked at this really, you know, great sort of campaign about NuPath Now. This is NuPath Now. This is what we need from you now. Not to mention the $275,000 that we would have made in our walk, because we would have met our goal. I know we would have. Can you believe that would have been what, last Saturday? That would have been our walk. Oh, different times. But I just felt like with all the economic insecurity and uncertainty, and I know many of our families are in pain and maybe lost income or partial income, and we thought now is not the time to be, you know, going out more broadly and looking for money or asking for money from people. But certainly, if you have it, if you've got anything to spare or to give, we will put it to good use. I promise you that. And we can leave directions on if you're not certain how to get any kind of a donation or money raised to NuPath. You can email me or Bill Yates or Greg or Dan, or maybe we can include some of those emails if you don't have them, and you know, in the body of the email tomorrow or something if you don't have it. But thank you so much, and another way of you expressing your support, and we're so grateful for that. It means a lot to us all. Thank you. Anything else, Greg?
That's it, Dave. The only other thing, Brett pointed out to me that this past week would have been a walk, and it would have been a total washout because of the weather. So that's, I guess, looking at the.
Oh, good. I feel so much better. Thank you, Brett. That's right. Yeah. Good thing we didn't have that walk.
And that's it, Dave.
That's it. You guys, I mean what I say, that you keep me going, all of you. And honestly, I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be than in the heart of this fantastic organization and in the heart of all of you. So stay strong, and we'll get through this. We will, because why? We got this. We got this. and we're going to make it. All right. More tomorrow. Be sure to come back. It's going to be great. See you then. Bye.